Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teen safer as they grow, like making sure they always have their seatbelt on.
All right, buckle up. Good job.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1108, July 10th, 2023. 106 degrees on this day in 1936. And 49 degrees on this day in 2 occasions, 1945 and 1996. What a swimming summer it's been so far. I hope you've contacted our friends at Aquaside. They've been keeping beaches and swimming areas free of weeds and algae and crud for more than 60 years with a great line of products made at White Bear Lake, right in White Bear Lake. And they're quick. They work quickly, they're easy to use, and they've been registered with all the proper authorities. I almost said appropriate authorities.
I got in the horn.
And all you do is call Aquaside, describe to them what you're looking at and why the kids are cowering in fear standing behind you while you make the phone call, and they'll get you the right products, and that beach will look like brand new again. Call Aquaside at 1-8. Well, beaches aren't really brand new.
I got what you're saying.
It'll look fresh and
just like new.
Nature-like.
Right.
Call Aquaside at 1-800-328-9350 or go to aquaside.com.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
It's a big day in GL.
Why?
Well, first off, we're all back. I missed you guys. And today we are launching, thanks to the Rook, 30 years of Garage Logic bits. And we're going to be featuring them, thanks, of course, to North American Banking Company. They are sponsoring the 30th anniversary of GL. So, Rook, what did you select? How did this work?
What I did is I went over the past 30 years, and we wanted some of our best bits. So I included a lot of them that were on the Garage Logic CD, but we're not giving out the Garage Logic CD anymore. So this is a way where you can actually listen to these bits. But it's just some of the best bits. Something like Ricey's $2,500 dive. Over the years, that was a staple of the leprosy. I mean, some of the bits we did were just unbelievable. And to celebrate that, that's what the sponsor wanted, North American Banking Company, wanted to just re-highlight some of the funness.
So on each podcast, you will be able to hear one of those with each new episode of the Garage Logic podcast. It's very cool.
It's going to be fun.
When do we hear that?
Well, I guess, you will, because I'll have to play it in what do you call it? Yeah.
And they're ones that they're knee slappers, and you're just going to sit back and enjoy them.
I thought maybe to start our reunion, we'd all like a review of culture.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What our culture is and what we face as a culture. We all could use a refresher occasionally on defining culture in America, and who better to do that than the Vice President of the United States?
Of course.
Kamala Harris, who has this to say. This was at a conference.
Yes.
I believe in Atlanta.
Yes.
She's on stage, I think, with some African-American women.
Yes.
And she is asked what culture is or how culture works or whatever she was asked, and here's her answer.
Well, I think culture is a reflection of our moment and our time, right?
You've used that before.
And present culture is the way we express how we're feeling about the moment.
What?
and we should always find times to express how we feel about the moment that is a reflection of joy, because it comes in the morning. We have to find ways to also express the way we feel about the moment in terms of just having language and a connection to how people are experiencing life. And I think about it in that way too.
Don't you wish Archie Bunker was there so he could go?
How did this woman get a law degree? That's a serious question.
Sure.
And it doesn't say much about the law. It doesn't say much about the failed academy that this complete idiot got a law degree and has held what used to be considered important positions, DA and what have you. Mm-hmm. It just shows you how far our standards have fallen.
I'll say.
This woman's a complete fool. Yep. And, that's why you got to say a rosary for Biden. Because if Biden kicks, if he goes face first into the potatoes, you're stuck with this idiot for a while.
Yeah.
I have no idea what she was trying to say there.
Did you want to hear it again?
Once more.
Maybe to clarify.
Yeah, maybe we'll get it. We'll pick it up.
Wait, stop. And why and I'm going to use the word inappropriate. You don't have to foghorn it. Why the inappropriate laughter in the middle of whatever she's babbling
about the morning? What was she referring to?
What in God's name goes through this idiot's head?
Not to
does
defend
she have
her.
some sort of morning ritual that we don't want to know about?
I don't want to know about it.
Not to defend her in any way, but we all have a verbal crutch. And I think the cackling laughter is her verbal crutch.
Well, her other verbal crutch is moment in time she's used
often.
Yes. Somebody must have fed her that line, and she thought it was great.
Because there was one about the passage of time.
Passage of time. And she doesn't make sense at all. She's a complete fool. And here's her discussing culture.
Well, I think culture is a reflection of our moment and our time, right? And present culture is the way we express how we're feeling about the moment. And we should always find times to express how we feel about the moment that is a reflection of joy, because it comes in the morning.
Who does?
We have to find ways to also express the way we feel about the moment in terms of just having language and a connection to how people are experiencing life. And I think about it in that way too.
And she also gives you the vernacular, because she was with some black gals.
And that
comes in the morning.
That took place in New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah.
Well, she's not wrong. I mean, her definition it's sort of correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Joe disagrees.
Date July 1st. The forest fires that have raged between here and Robinson Lake have been making persistent headway for the past week, and Wednesday encroached upon the city of Ely. You guys have heard about this. Owing to the high wind, it was feared fire might fly into town, and with this desperate dry weather, the matter of stopping it would be a question. The fires came from the south and west and are today still raging this side of the Anderson mine. Cinders and burning sparks flew into town, and people became considerably alarmed. The situation was still further complicated when the fire alarms called out the department, and lines of hose were stretched to the outskirts of the city on the south and west to protect this district from flying sparks that might ignite combustible material and start something. The wind blew at the rate of 35 miles an hour, and it looked serious. Men from the mines were sent up, and all possible was done to arrest fire that might creep in. With sundown, the wind also subsided for a time, and people breathed easier. The Birch Lake and White Iron District, wherein reside about 60 families on farms, has suffered untold losses from the first raging fire there. Yesterday, 6 families in the Birch Lake settlement were burned out, and the handsome new schoolhouse in that district destroyed. The families barely escaped with their lives and lost everything, some of them being penniless. The fires in the White Iron District are doing incalculable damage, and fears for the farmers there are felt. A large crew from here has gone out today to lend a helping hand and save property if possible. The handsome school of that settlement is also threatened. The situation is fierce and is the worst experienced here for many years. In fact, the fires are worse this year than ever before experienced. The immediate surroundings about Ely prevent the forest fire from entering the city only by the air route, but it certainly pays to take no chances. Chiefs Cox and Gleason and Mayor Knutson, Chaz Trezona, and County Commissioner McMahon deserve much praise for the intelligent manner in which they have taken precautions to guard against a conflagration. Wednesday afternoon, Mayor Knutson ordered all business houses closed and everyone out on the line to do their best. The order was obeyed with perfectly good feelings, showing that the people were aware of their danger. The Forest Service employees also had a most strenuous time with forest fires, a particularly bad one in the Everett Lake County, having demanded their attention this week. Everett Lake Country. Cruisers returning from the country east of here report fires very bad in the Knife Lake and other districts. The county needs rain, and it needs it badly. July 1st, 1910. Ely. What strikes me about that is two things. One, how well it's written. It's just really lyrical. It's almost a chapter of a novel. Mm-hmm. Really well written. And two, wouldn't you love to know what the cruisers were in 1910?
Yes.
Cruisers returned from the country east of here. Cruisers returning from the country east of here report fire. I mean, is cruisers referring to people, I wonder, or some sort of mechanized vehicle?
Cars and or boats.
In 1910, I got to think vehicles were pretty rare in Ely area,
right?
In the Boundary Waters area. That was before it was crowned the Boundary Waters. So Bernie sent me that, and I thought it was great. And I have a note also along the same lines from Corey Peters, pilot, Tanker 162. Good afternoon, Fireworks Commissioner and crew. This was written on the 4th of July last week. I hope you have survived the holiday with all your fingers intact. I knew I was doing well with my fireworks purchase when the fireworks stand attendant gave me a high 4. Ba-boom, boom, boom. Mm. I know you have probably moved on from the topic of wildfires, but I wanted to chime in on the subject. As an aerial firefighter, I am a colleague of Tim, the pilot you had on your podcast in March of 2020. We pretty much eat and sleep all things wildfire. Firstly, I want to thank you for giving the sense whens. In the context of history, these fires are really nothing new. Just look at the great fires we have nearly forgotten in U.S. history, such as the Hinckley Fire of 1884, the Great Michigan Fire of 1871, and the Peshtigo Fire of 1871. The Peshtigo Fire alone burned an estimated 1.2 million acres and killed at least 1,152 people.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Secondly, and interestingly enough, as Canada is having a large fire season this year, the United States is near a record low so far. Attached is a screenshot of all active uncontained wildfires in the U.S. and Canada as of July 1. But hopefully it gives you and the crew a good picture of the current situation. To put my second point into perspective, let me also share some statistics. Every morning at the air tanker base where we load retardant onto our aircraft, we have a briefing with all firefighter personnel currently at the base. One of the reports we monitor is the daily NIFC, National Interagency Fire Center Situation Report, that covers all fire activity across the U.S. and then breaks it down into specific regions. Near the end of the report is the year-to-date number of fires and total acres burned. So far, as of July 1st, 2023, we have burned 674,340 acres across the entire U.S. That'd be about 6 Lake Mille Lacs. Just after this statistic, NIFC also lists the 10-year national average of year-to-date acres burned. As of July 1st, our 10-year national year-to-date average is 1,928,479,000. As you can see, a typical year would have burned many more acres than we have so far this year. Percentage-wise, we are only at 35% of our 10-year national average year-to-date. Enough math. Time to get back standing by for our next call. Please keep all of us wildland firefighters in your thoughts and prayers. It is appreciated. Corey Peters, pilot, Tanker 162. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is.
To have the sense when put into place by someone who's there.
Legitimate stats.
That's right.
Can't be disputed.
I saved one story from last week. It being my job to not let up on following the news.
What days do you just take off?
I'm going to this. I have some.
It's always
coming.
working.
I
Always
have-
on the grind.
I have
No,
some coming
he
up.
asked a different sort of question. What days do you completely ignore the news like I did for the last, I don't know, how long were we gone? A month? I have no idea what happened in the last 10 days.
It's really hard for me to do that, but I'm going to do it in a few days.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I think you'll enjoy it.
We all did.
I saved the Thursday, July 5th Star Tribune, just last Thursday. The play headline on the front page is Chaos Closes Out July 4th in Minneapolis. And we learned that, once again, criminals were shooting fireworks at people, including the police, virtually all of whom have been released without even 24 hours in a jail cell. They're out again. That isn't the story I saved.
That's not? I thought that would be the story. They're all out already.
Trickery.
I saved the story below that called Hottest Days Ever. Tuesday set an unofficial record for the warmest day on Earth. Wednesday may have broken that record.
We don't know that.
And I'm not going to irritate the euphorians. I'll be the first to admit that in many parts of the country where they are accustomed to such things, it has really been hot.
It's been a hot one.
We had a nice stretch of hot days. It hasn't been hot for a while yet. So I'm not going to deny that. But I guess the question that's always applicable is, well, what's the temperature supposed to be?
Right.
In any event, this really got a lot of play, this hottest days ever. It made national news. It was on every newscast at night. It was presented very hysterically to the point where I really don't think in the United States we'll ever have summer again. And I'm being very serious. We'll have climate change.
Okay.
We won't have summer. Summer
So,
is not here. It's
They're
climate
going
change.
to rebrand summer.
It's called climate change. Now, here's what I noted about this story.
That's so clunky, though.
It is, but that we don't have summer. And this is by Melina Walling and the always available Seth Borenstein.
Okay.
Oh, of course.
I'll read you just the first paragraph, then I'm going to jump around a bit. But then I'm not going to read you the whole thing because I'm trying not to irritate the Mysterians.
Okay.
Why I don't want to irritate them is
I don't know.
beyond me.
I was about to ask,
Yeah.
why would you stop now?
The planet's temperature spiked on Tuesday to its hottest day in decades and likely centuries. And Wednesday could become the third straight day Earth unofficially marks a record-breaking high. It's the latest in a series of climate change extremes that alarm but don't surprise scientists. Let me jump around here. It provided climate scientists a glimpse of the world condition. A record like this is another piece of evidence for the now massively supported proposition. Then we learn this. We learn that it's heat from a natural El Nino warming of the Pacific that heats up the planet as it changes worldwide weather on top of human-caused climate change from the burning of coal, oil, and gas. Okay. Is it, for all you people who have those signs in your yard, those ridiculous signs that say, we believe in science, and then they list a bunch of other BS they believe.
Yep.
For all you people who have those signs in your yard, is that science to say likely, could become unofficially massively supported glimpse. Is that science? Science is the pursuit of knowledge based on evidence. The evidence must be present to confirm the knowledge. What are those the words of evidence?
No. Those are assumptions.
And again, Mysterians, I don't deny that it's been warm. But what I would add is, so what? Then you turn to the jump and you get many more of the nebulous phrases. I feel like we're living in a tropical country right now, somebody said, okay? Sometimes it feels like that way. It's been kind of brutally hot for the past week, and it looks like potentially for 2 weeks, according to Alan Harris, Director of Emergency Management for Seminole County, Florida. All right. I won't dwell on this, but my point is that science? And I'm asking a serious question. Or, again, going back to our vice president, our standards are so low.
How low are they?
Well, they've fallen so low that many things that never would have passed the rigorous judgment 60 years ago or in 1910 when that beautiful piece was written in Ely, we don't have standards anymore.
No, this is the new science.
Yeah, this is the new science is whatever you feel like you might want it to be.
Right.
Because those aren't the words of science, or more accurately, those aren't the words of evidence.
This is the new science that controls the actions of human beings and tells them where they can go and when, and makes the pharmaceutical companies even more wealthier than they are by forcing us to take their vaccines.
The highs come after months of truly unreal meteorology. What does that mean? That's not evidence. Off the chart record warmth in the North Atlantic, record low sea ice in Antarctica, a rapidly strengthening El Nino. Okay. Last Wednesday. Was that last one? No, this piece was in the Thursday paper, so I don't know what Wednesday they were talking about. Maybe the previous day, July 5th. Wednesday may bring another unofficial record. May and unofficial are not science words.
Science. Nope.
I hope you realize, according to today's propaganda page, that it's the likes of you and me and us that are forcing meteorologists across the country to quit their jobs and go home and hide under the bed like little wussies.
Oh, my God.
I saw that. Some guy in Iowa started crying about it.
Yeah, he had to quit his job.
Had to quit his
Go
job.
home to
Being
mommy.
mean to me.
Mommy.
Did you guys get a lot of grilling in last week?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Not as much as I would have liked,
With
but yes.
Grunhofer's old-fashioned meats? Grunhofer's the best. You had the rookie burger. I know you did rookie burgers.
I did. We did rookie burgers. We did beer brats. We did regular brats, and we did wild rice. And you know what? It was just, and it was for the second day.
Did it feel like you were in a tropical land?
Yes, it felt tropical.
Because it was so hot?
It was fantastic. And they were fighting for the rookie burgers.
I don't blame them. They're available at Grunhofer's old-fashioned meats.
Never to be done well. They're never to be well done.
I'm going medium well.
This is such a good cut of meat.
Well, there's stuff in there that ain't hamburger. There's steak stuff.
Short rib.
Yeah.
This
is it.
This is my mix.
And at Grunhofer's, it's all Minnesota beef grown by Minnesota farmers. The brats, the burgers, pork shoulders. I saw a guy who had a pork shoulder the other day. You ever had a pork shoulder?
Yes.
You can get them at Grunhofer's.
Yeah, hell yeah.
They're unbelievable.
And
they fall off the bone and then fall off your fork.
Slow cook them, baby. Slow cook them.
There's 2 locations as Grunhofer's Old Fashioned Meats, the original site in Hugo, actually just north of Hugo on Highway 61. You'll see the big GL sign out front. And Grunhofer's in Forest Lake. If you're headed up north and you're taking 35E, pack a cooler, get off the freeway at Highway 97, go east about a couple hundred yards. There's Grunhofer's. Fill the cooler and then get up to the cabin. It's Grunhofer's Old Fashioned Meats.
Since 1985, Air Mechanical has served the Twin Cities for their heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. They can also help you with drain cleaning, duct cleaning, and indoor air quality, serving the entire metro area. From general maintenance to full install, they got you. Furnace installs, boilers, heat pumps, garage heaters, and more. Air Mechanical employs top-trained tradespeople in the state of Minnesota. They operate with full integrity. They do things the right way, not the easy way. And their Total Solutions membership is like having Air Mechanical on retainer. Keep all of your home maintenance needs in one comprehensive membership. Select one tune-up a year and enjoy benefits like discounted maintenance, repairs, service, and equipment costs. Catch problems before they arise and keep your home's mechanicals running smoothly. We'd love it if you gave Air Mechanical a shout-out for any heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical needs. Call or book online at thinkami.com. That's thinkami.com.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
Dylan Heidt.
That's a trumpet.
Kenny. Just a minute, Kenny.
Dylan's been listening to a lot of ska lately.
Is he going reggae on us?
Oh, he's always been a reggae kid. But the ska thing now is...
Nothing wrong with this. This is nice.
That's so weird. I'm shaking my grass skirt.
Like that hula girl on the dashboard.
I didn't know he played the trumpet in all seriousness.
He does it, Chris. It's a keyboard.
Jesus God almighty.
Hi, how are you? Welcome back.
I didn't know either.
Neither did he.
Right.
I didn't know I could drive a bus.
I didn't know I could dance like this.
Oh,
yeah, it's over.
All right.
You got to talk.
Yes, I did.
Charlene writes, Dearest Kenneth.
Hi, Charlene.
Thank you so much for putting up with your Hooplehead coworkers and continuing to work at Garage Logic despite the heavy toll it takes on your patience and sanity. Anyway,
Can't about that.
Hell,
He wrote it himself.
I just got back from the Dakotas,
Is this still Charlene?
both north and south. And my car was full of bugs. After going to a few stores, I finally found Bugs Be Gone by Seafoam. It was worth looking for. I sprayed it on my car and windshield, went to get the bucket of warm, soapy water to wash my car, and with no effort at all, the bugs came off. When I was done washing my car, I got my bike out from EcoFun and sprayed that to get the bugs off. So Charlene knows what's up. Bugs Be Gone makes removing bugs from your windshield and bumpers very easy. When you get to the service station, spray it on the windshield before you fire up the pump. And then by the time the pump is pumping, you'll be able to wash them off with ease with that squeegee dealy thing. It's really easy. It's just another fine, wonderful product from our friends at Seafoam.
May I riff for a moment?
Do it. You got a guitar?
No, I meant riff verbally.
Oh.
Is there a mental illness afoot affecting the human condition?
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah, give me an example.
For example, you read this hottest days ever story. Do people have any interest in history or context?
No.
Or do people only want now today?
Right. Yep.
Make me comfortable today. I want to be comfortable right now.
Yes.
Okay. It seems to me that it's kind of a mental lapse to fall for this stuff. What is it that people want? First of all, you're all being misled because this hysteria has nothing to do with the environment. Nothing. It ultimately has to do with, I guess, how we're all going to have to behave. And I don't know what I've often said. Do people have a little golden book idea of what? Remember, in Christmas, it should be just gentle white flakes and beautiful lights outside across.
Right.
What are you doing? Is there a break already?
No. I was just cracking my knuckles.
Oh.
Sorry. Sorry.
Jeez, now I'm all discombobulated.
The picture-perfect scenario of
Well,
what?
what do you want for summer? You know, everybody's got the hot dish and the checkered blanket on the park grass, and it's 72.4 degrees, and the humidity is just right.
That'd be
and
nice.
and then it's going to rain the next day because we need a little. What is it you think? What is it you want? What is it? What makes you so desperate to cling to this BS?
The coddled are now in power, and they're grown adults.
That's not a bad point.
That's
yes,
it.
you in the back.
And then also your theory on they want to be marginalized. Because if it's perfect, they don't have a cause anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's true of your trans people.
But I'm saying there's some of that with this as well.
But you're painting a whole. You're painting 200 million people. I don't think 200 million people want to be marginalized. I think there's GLers everywhere that are saying what we're saying, but we feel like we're in the minority because what we say makes a great deal of sense, and nobody seems interested in history, perspective, context, sense, rationality.
Oh, they're unwilling to deal with the hardships and the everyday fiasco that is life. I see these people every morning on the traffic cams. They get a flat tire and they sit there and they wait for the MnDOT first unit highway helper to come along and change their tire for them. Yeah. They don't know how to change a tire. They forget to put the hose back in the pump when they're done pumping gas. This is the coddled crowd. They're now in control and they're full-grown adults, and they want their diapers changed on a daily basis like they had when they were kids.
Here's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association. Numerous corporate media outlets drove the narrative that July 3, 4, and 5 was the hottest 72-hour stretch ever on record. By the way, the records have only been known since, ready? 1979.
Oh, wow.
Citing a data tool from the University of Maine, that's in the story, I just didn't read you the whole story. Citing a data tool from the University of Maine, which the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has warned is not as dependable as traditional observational data. The New York Times, Fortune, Axios, and CBS each cited the University of Maine's Climate Reanalyzer. It's like a prompt you'd make for the TV show. Climate Reanalyzer and various Thursday reports asserting that this week's global temperatures broke the previous record for the hottest three-day stretch. The coverage came as NOAA said Thursday that the Reanalyzer's data is not a suitable substitute for observational data, since the Reanalyzer depends in part on unverifiable outputs, according to the AP. And I would ask again, is that science? The answer is
no.
No, it's not.
Axios Thursday's headline asserted that Earth sees 3 hottest days on record, while the Times wrote in its Thursday story that the past 3 days were quite likely, is quite likely science?
It is not.
No.
Quite likely the hottest in Earth's modern history. CBS News ran a Chiron. I don't know what that means.
Chiron.
What is it?
CHR. It's the thing you see scrolling on the bottom of the screen.
Okay. Ran a Chiron on a Thursday television segment which read, Earth sees 3rd straight hottest day on record, while the first half of Fortune's Thursday headline stated, Earth hits record heat 3rd day in a row. Although NOAA cannot validate the methodology or conclusion of the University of Maine analysis, we do recognize we're in a warm period due to climate change, NOAA said, according to the AP. Well,
that's corrupt. That's lying. If the records only go back, let me ask you a question about the 1979 thing. Is that really the beginning of the records, or is that just what they're referencing? They decided not to go before 79.
Well, I think they found the 3 hottest days on record since 1979.
Well, they don't count them. Then everything they're telling us is a lie.
Let me see if I can find it to clear it up for you. Let me read the...
because then they should finish every single sentence with since 1979.
Yeah,
what about the 30s? Pretty horrible in the 30s.
Yeah, the record today was 136 in 1931. They had quite a stretch there. Where is the
136 degrees?
With many places seeing temperatures near 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the new average temperatures might not seem very hot. But Tuesday's global high was nearly 1.8 degrees higher than the 1979 to 2000 average.
Well, that's you're wasting ink and time. And next story.
What the hell are you talking about?
Not you. I'm referring to the idiots writing this piece.
Well, back to the NOAA. The the Reanalyzer. I'm seeing something at the state fair.
Reanalyzer. Yeah, like the tip.
And you get your personality.
Right.
read.
Yes.
Yeah.
little card comes out.
Brooke, give me the analyzer. Okay, I'm coming. You're the machine. I'm going to come up to you. You're the machine.
Got to stand on it.
There's a Reanalyzer machine. Who's got $1? Okay, thank you. Give me $1. I slide the dollar into the machine. There, I inserted the dollar.
His best impersonation so far.
Spits out your card. Spits out your card. That's a
You know what it said? Today, hottest day ever since 1979.
And tomorrow ain't looking any better.
The Reanalyzer uses observational data from the National Centers for Environmental Prediction, the NCEP. According to the Reanalyzer's website, the Reanalyzer shows that this week was the hottest week it has ever recorded. The Reanalyzer's been around for about 12 days. NCEP is part of the National Weather Service, which is part of the NOAA, according to the National Weather Service's website, because our government's too bleeping big. The situation we are witnessing now is the demonstration that climate change is out of control. United Nations Secretary Antonio Guterres said of the heat, according to The Guardian in the UK. If we persist in delaying tell this, I'd like to meet this guy in person. If we persist in delaying key measures that are needed, I think we are moving into a catastrophic situation, as the last two records in temperature demonstrates. NOAA, the New York Times, Fortune, Axios, and CBS News did not respond for comment. All right.
He's sweating like a prostitute in church.
Antonio Guterres, he has no job unless he's preaching this BS.
Correct. And he understands that.
And the always available Seth Borenstein.
The always hysterical Seth Borenstein. I have reaffirmed my commitment to get precision garage door to my house before winter. I'm going to do a complete
I thought you
tune-up.
were doing that last week.
No, it's good for the summer, but before winter, because I don't
see.
want to go out there and have to push that door open by hand.
Hell no.
My new garage door guy is the whole family, the whole company, Precision Garage Door of the Twin Cities. They don't even charge more on weekends, and they're always available for everything you need, including a new garage door if you're trying to spruce up the place. Rollers, springs, the openers, they got it all figured out. They're good people, and they're GLers. They're available 24/7. They don't charge extra for weekends, and when they visit you, they get it done right, and they do it the first time. You're busy, they're busy, they don't want to have to return. They're going to fix it promptly and correctly. I've met these people, they're GLers, and when you have them at your place, tell them you appreciate a good GL family-owned business. They fix garage doors correctly. Get help online immediately at precisiondoormn.com.
From high atop the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, we're celebrating 30 years of Garage Logic. Thanks in part to North American Banking Company.
Is he on the line?
Just leave the bottle. Leave it. Drop it. Drop in the bottle. Drop the bottle. So, do you like basketballs? I got some basketballs for sale.
What now?
Hello? Hello?
Rook.
I'm trying to sell some old baseballs from Little League. These are the rookies can't play with this ball here. I was the rookie. I didn't play, but I was a coach.
Yep.
And I was a damn good coach.
Yep.
How? Oh, whoop. Hang on. Let me get that one. That's a low smell a little bit. Hey, cheers again.
Hey,
cheers.
Hey.
You ever see Trading Places with the guy? Talk about that. As much as I want now, anytime.
You can figure you can mention that now, huh?
Yeah.
I will call you every day. Yeah, you watch the show. You see the show yet?
Yeah.
You see the show? I've seen the show.
How long is the
1 hour? Took me an hour. Took me an hour to get there.
How long? 1 hour.
How
1
long?
hour.
How long is the garage sale going to last?
Oh, we got Monday, Tuesday. We're going to be here starting September 7th.
Hey.
It's going to keep going.
So, you know what this does? This brings nooning to everything must go.
Everything must go. I believe I got a text from you, Rook, that reads...
We want to sell everything. Hey, those are half off over there. Hey, Rookie used to seed his grass with that. It's $5. $5. Four.
Well, he's negotiating.
I think I'm going to get down there. I bet I can get some deals, huh?
I think you can. I got a bunch of two-rate crap I got to get rid of.
How many copies of Waterline did you put up for sale?
Oh, my God.
Nobody will buy that crap.
The real Rookie's coming out now, is he? Oh, my God.
Hey, Gabe, go get you that another beer. Get the good ones. None of that light crap. Hey, don't sass.
Don't sass.
Oh, my word. Oh.
What did you want to know?
So now he turns it on.
What did you want to know?
What did you were wondering about Sportscaster Idol.
What happened with that?
Well,
I think we lost your tape.
That hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah, that's at the fair.
Oh, it is?
So, do we still got a chance? Can we reapply? Is there a loophole?
Oh, God.
We gotta have a loophole.
Oh, I can't write this
anywhere.
note to myself fast enough.
We got a loophole.
Yeah.
I can come in Saturdays at 7.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, Rook, is
or is it Sunday?
when you when you heard the scramble fire at 103, you took advantage.
Yeah. Thanks, Gabe. Good, thanks. Yeah, keep another one on ice.
Oh. That was coffee.
I'm an airline pilot. So that's Foster Brooks.
I got to stop now. I'm having trouble.
Oh.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I'll check with you later to see.
What are you doing on the 8th?
What?
What are you doing on the 8th?
I don't know. It's a whole new day then, isn't it?
You want to go to the beach?
I'll be in touch.
Huh?
I said I'll be in touch.
I thought you said don't fall on the couch.
You've just invented a character that's going to live on in the podcast world.
My timing is off.
No, it's not. It's perfect. It's perfect.
I've done this 10 years ago.
That's right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
30 years of Garage Logic is brought to you by North American Banking Company. A better banking experience. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. To learn more, go to nabankco.com. Join us all summer long as we look back at 30 years of GL memories.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
Big Independence Day sale going with Liberty Safes from Maple Grove Lock and Safe. Keep your valuables secure and safe from calamity, and at the same time celebrate with savings on the most popular Liberty Safes at MGLS. This explosive deal, get it? Explosive deal, means we now save, we save now and then enjoy peace of mind forevermore. The Liberty Safe made right here in the United States of America, fully transferable lifetime warranties, and they offer the best fire protection in the business. And thanks to Rich at Maple Grove Lock and Safe, professional delivery and installation, always available. All you have to do is ask. Give him a call if you have any questions. He's got a phone, 763-494-9075. The showroom, that's what I do. Stop into the showroom. 6901 East Fish Lake Road, Maple Grove. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And, of course, 24 hours a day. You can look this up at 3 in the morning. MapleGroveLockandSafe.com.
Yes.
I must. Kenny just reminded me of something. I must offer an apology to the GL crew and the GL audience.
Yes.
I put shows together for our best ofs for last week, and I completely forgot to include Paul's Prothesis Palace. What the hell is the problem with me?
Well, where do we
I can
start?
tell you, but you don't want to hear
I've
it.
got a list going. Do you want me to mail it to you?
I'm so mad at
or
myself.
fax?
How could I forget that?
I can
bit?
tell you. I'll explain it to you off the air.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Here is John Heidt.
Thank you, Joe. Firefighters responded to a blaze over the weekend at an apartment building in St. Paul. That fire left 17 units condemned and 30 people displaced. Firefighters said in a news release they went to the 1300 block of St. Paul Avenue around 4:20 in the afternoon Saturday after they got reports of a grass fire that spread to a nearby apartment building. When crews got there, they saw flames that engulfed trees that were up against the apartment building as well as attic space above the apartments. They evacuated the building. Fire crews extinguished the flames without any injuries. The St. Paul Fire Department said all crews were at the scene for more than 5 hours and that 20-mile-an-hour winds combined with dry weather conditions contributed to the fire spreading so quickly.
And climate change.
Fire investigators report they found firework debris near the origin of the fire and that residents reported hearing fireworks just before they saw flames in the grass. Police and firefighters say they are still investigating the cause. Overall structural and content damage estimated at more than $2 million.
Wait a minute. So I thought fireworks were illegal in Minnesota.
They are.
And somebody still used them anyway?
I heard more in my neighborhood than I've heard in all previous years.
Really?
And good ones, too. I mean, big timers.
We had a lot of people in South St. Paul that spent a lot of money.
Not the stuff for Menards.
No, they went to Wisconsin. They did the, remember the old sneak attack when you take one of your kids you used to have?
Yeah.
That to me is what's so
crying.
Yes.
That was so troubling about some of the video that surfaced of all these kids that were basically let go from, the one guy had what looked like an automatic rifle style firework dispenser.
Fired him at the cops.
Directly at the squad car.
Like a Roman candle thing.
Is that what it is, Ken?
I don't know, but that's Roman candle wars. We've all done those, haven't we? I would hope so.
Not with the cops.
I've never
no, not with the police.
police.
No. Jeez.
Other weekend news, a man who was charged after police found a dismembered body in a suburban Minneapolis storage unit has now been linked to another woman who was found dead after going missing 2 years ago. Joseph Jorgensen hasn't yet been charged in Fanta Jaevong's death, but the 40-year-old was charged last week with second-degree murder in the other death, the death of Manny Starr, 33 years old. Jaevong's body was found Thursday in a Coon Rapids storage unit, while Starrin's body was found last month in a storage unit in Woodbury. St. Paul Police Sergeant Mike Ernster said Jorgensen is a person of interest in the second death after investigators connected him to the Coon Rapids storage unit. Police are now trying to determine if Jorgensen could be linked to any other missing people. Ernster calling it nothing short of horrific. The Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension had received a tip in May that Jaevong had been in an abusive relationship with Jorgensen before she disappeared in July of 2021. Police Chief Axel Henry said at a Friday news conference that cases like this are extremely rare, but they're reminders to all of us that monsters can be real.
This was a bad guy.
I think so.
Yeah.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara issuing a statement yesterday in response to emails that show the police department and city officials knew about an officer's use of force incident before the department hired him. O'Hara's statement said he knew about the incident, but he didn't know about the existence of a video. A Star Tribune story had cited internal emails obtained by the paper showing that the officer, Tyler Timberlake, had informed the city of the incident during his background check in September 2022, 7 months before a news article drew attention to the hire. The city official hired Timberlake in January, hired Timberlake in January. In April, the Minnesota Reformer reported he had faced a federal lawsuit and criminal charges after subduing a man with a stun gun. Body camera footage, which appeared in national news stories, showed Timberlake, other officers, and paramedics responding in 2020 to a report of a man in Mount Vernon, Virginia neighborhood who said he needed oxygen. The recording showed the man, Lamonte Gladney, pacing in circles and responding confusedly to questions from police. Although others tried to coax Gladney into an ambulance, Timberlake pulls his taser, shoots the man with a stun gun, sending him to the ground, writhing in pain. Fairfax County Police Chief at the time lambasted Timberlake's conduct, saying the footage erodes the public's trust of police officers. He was acquitted on 3 misdemeanor counts of assault and battery. Last year, that county in Virginia settled a lawsuit with Gladney for $150,000. On April 20th, responding to news reports, the chief here said Timberlake would not be deployed as an officer pending an investigation. He told reporters at the time he was extremely concerned to have just learned that a recruit had been involved in a high-profile use of force incident.
Well, what's the controversy?
Did you see the video?
Yeah, I did. So is the controversy the cops hired this guy knowing full well what he had done in Virginia?
Right.
Or they hired him not knowing what he had done in Virginia?
No, the officer that was hired told them about this, so he got hired, but whoever's in charge didn't see the video till recently, till it was pointed out to him.
Well, O'Hara would be the one in charge.
But didn't O'Hara also claim that he was not aware at the time? But
he originally did.
I think he backtracked on that.
So he kind of lied about it as well.
I found it a confusing story to try to discern.
Discern, yes.
A couple of weekend incidents involving aircraft here in the northern suburbs. Officers and firefighters in Lino Lakes responding to a lightweight experimental aircraft that landed in a large holding pond about 8 o'clock Saturday night. A news release from the Lino Lakes Public Safety Department said the pilot was the lone occupant and luckily was not injured. There was no damage to property reported, and police say the investigation is continuing. You, sir, in the back, yes?
Well, how big is the holding pond that a plane can land on it?
No, how big are the balls on the guy that goes up in the air?
He lands it in a holding pond. They're the size of a garbage can lid.
Experimental aircraft. I don't like that word. That's not a good phrase.
Not with aircraft. You don't want experimental.
Have you ever built a go-kart or maybe put together a motorcycle or a sled? And the first ride is always kind of like,
that's experimental.
Yeah, you take it easy.
But you're on the ground.
You're on the ground.
And a different plane, made an emergency landing on 125th Avenue Northeast.
Knock it off. There's too damn many planes landing on streets.
This one was a little bigger, even though it was a small aircraft, a Cessna 172. Police had received reports it was experiencing low oil pressure approaching the Anoka County Blaine Airport about 2 in the afternoon Saturday. The pilot declared an emergency, was able to safely land the plane on 100.
Wait a second.
Yes, sir.
He had low oil pressure, so in order to save his engine, he put her down on a highway.
I was going to say,
what an SOB!
If he was worried about low oil pressure, he has never driven a British car.
Right? Come on, man. You can go 10 miles on 10 pounds of pressure.
Don't worry
You'll
about
make
it.
it.
Forget what the gauge says.
Just add a little when you get on the ground. What the hell?
The pilot told police he left Cambridge Airport about 1:45 and was on the way to Flying Cloud Airport when the plane started experiencing the low oil pressure. He was diverted to the Anoka Blaine Airport, but the pilot determined the plane wasn't able to safely make it there. He decided to land on the roadway after looking down and seeing there was no traffic.
He's been wanting to do that his whole life.
The pilot told police at the time he has 13 years of experience. Nobody luckily was hurt. The plane, if you saw the video, just a normal landing. The roadway was able to remain open while the plane was loaded onto a flatbed.
So they probably have to take the wings off, right?
Yeah, I suppose they got her out of there.
What would Rookie do if he was flying in his plane and he saw the gauge was showing him, what was it, 10 pounds of pressure or whatever?
He would not even know that gauge exists.
If he did, he'd grab a piece of duct tape and cover the gauge up.
10, 11, wherever it should be. I don't know.
What's the highest point in the Twin Cities? Serious question.
I believe it's Highland Park.
Yeah, it's Highland Park.
Buck Hill, maybe?
That doesn't count.
Too far to drive. Thursday night, we're supposed to get the Northern Lights.
Oh, right.
Do you know where the Highland Water Tower is?
Vaguely.
Okay, good.
That's too light there. That's too light.
But you're by the golf course, though, so there's not a lot of lights.
Golf course there?
It's light pollution.
Yeah, there's an 18 and a 9.
All right.
Yeah, you'd probably be good at the 9.
Drive up to Forest Lake. You'll be fine.
I got to get up early the next day, though.
Well, what is early? What is early? 4:15. You're getting up at 4:30, milk the cows. What do you got? What's early?
7:30.
Oh my God, that's early.
7:30.
Kenny, when you see him, when you're in person with him, just
I had to get
slap
up
him.
twice last week at 6:30.
Matthew, by 7:30, I've already taken one nap.
I was up at
Scared me for a
4:30
minute.
and at the airport at 5 o'clock this morning.
Anyway, Thursday night, if it's clear, we're supposed to, a solar storm is supposed to result in a display of aurora borealis, even here in Minnesota.
Despite all this climate change,
Right.
Oh, maybe they're going to blame the northern lights on climate change. This is why we're seeing it more and more.
Yeah.
right.
Nobody won the Powerball jackpot on Saturday, but 4 Minnesota lottery players won big chunks of money. The lottery says 4 $50,000 winning Powerball tickets were sold across the state. To win $50,000, you have to match 4 of the first 5 winning numbers, and then the Powerball. If you're wondering, those tickets were sold at the Casey's General Store in Litchfield, the Gas Plus off of Rice Street in Little Canada, the Holiday Station along Nokomis in Alexandria, and at the Holiday Station off of 11th Street in Moorhead. The next Powerball drawing will take place tonight. The jackpot up to an estimated $650 million.
Does the ticket I have count for tonight, or do you have to buy a new one?
When did you buy it?
I bought it for this Saturday drawing.
Well, no, then you
then you got to buy a new one.
That's how they get you. That's how they.
I'm not going to.
What do
I don't
those?
need gas.
What do those 4 people all have in common for the rest of their lives? Those 4 winners.
That they didn't win the lotto.
Yep. You know, remember that 2023, I had 4 out of 5 and I got $50,000, but that's all. I don't got to get no more winners. Kind of turned into Gilbert.
So if those are the
You did,
4, I
kinda,
don't even
yeah.
have to look at my ticket. I obviously don't have any.
Well, you can
could've
still
won-
go
you might have
scan
won
it.
20
You might have
bucks.
won
What if
2
I
bucks.
won the whole thing?
Well, then you'd be a
no,
winner.
you
You got a
did.
50-50
Or if they
shot.
declared that that's not.
I
So,
got you, John.
wait a
You
minute.
guys listen to my newscast?
I do, John.
So you
Nobody-
buy.
What did he say?
Nobody won the Powerball jackpot.
That was the
That
headline.
means
of
it
the story.
still could be won then.
But so you buy a
Tonight,
lottery
yeah.
ticket, but then you don't check the numbers?
Oh, I forgot.
Don't you? Do you ever go to a gas station? You just have the little machine. You stick it under. It tells you if it's a winner.
I don't trust those guys because they could put it in there, see it's a winner, and then go,
No.
you got nothing. You're a loser. Hit the road, pal. You
We're
walk
closing
out.
up.
You walk out the door. That guy's now a zillionaire.
I'm going to try my
Will you listen to
question
me
one
for a
more
minute here?
time.
Try it.
No. Let me answer Kenny first. My quick trip. You walk up to it. Nobody's working there. There's a machine. sitting in the
Yeah, I don't
corner.
trust
You
it.
walk
I don't trust it. Get the newspaper. Look up the
What's
numbers.
wrong with you? Anyway,
Look up the numbers.
Is it possible that my ticket would have won Saturday?
not the big one, but you could
Why?
have won.
Joe, what if you had won 20
right
bucks?
here, nobody won the Powerball.
Such-
That was my lead.
Right, John. Nobody won, but that might just mean nobody looked at the winning ticket yet.
No, they run a scam. They run a scam. They will say there's 2 winners.
Are you? Have you been hit in the head recently?
3 weeks ago today, I was speaking in tongues on this show.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Right now.
My buddy, Chris Birdsong over at the airport, TSA guy, big fan of the show.
Oh, sure, Chris. Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
is
how
a
you doing,
stroke
Chris?
survivor.
Yeah.
He had a big one.
Yeah.
He said, you sounded exactly like he did.
Yeah, but I've had every test known to man, and I'm fine.
And he said you were smart
You
as
had
hell
one.
to go do all those tests.
You had one. Oh, he didn't have any choice.
I did not have a stroke.
We called the bride.
Wow.
Why don't we take a short break?
170,450,000 is the check you're presented with.
Here's the deal,
Or
Joe.
Maybe not, Chris. Sorry.
You might have won $20.
Right.
Yeah,
and then you take
could've.
that $20 and what do? You roll it over.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Reinvest.
I don't know if I won.
I know you didn't.
Just
That was the
Are you
headline
having
of
you're having a
Look at-
stroke right
I'm
now,
fine.
aren't you?
I'm fine.
You
We'll
don't
take a break, and when we come back, we'll break down the Mega Millions, which is the next drawing.
Chris. I think
I
now
might have to
I'll
go to the
throw it.
Reanalyzer again.
Reanalyzer.
Actually, it looks like you've been there once or twice.
You know, speaking of money, my new bank, North American Banking Company,
I'll be.
they are the proud supporters of Garage Logic's 30th anniversary, and they have officially become my bank. And you can go into any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations, Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and their brand new location over there in Maple Grove. They offer the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but with the service of a community bank. North American Banking Company is locally owned and operated, which means, Joe, loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities. They are not sent out of state. This helps business owners solve problems and expand their business with confidence. North American Banking Company deals with numbers every day, but you will never be one of them. Their team of experienced bankers are ready to help business owners navigate all of the challenges and obstacles that come with owning a business. And they've been at it since 1998, and they are here for all of you GLers. So
you mean with North American, I might not get the... we're sorry, we're having a little trouble getting your paperwork through, Mr. Mikulski.
Right, exactly.
Might be another week or so,
They're not going to do that. So go online, nabankco.com, nabankco.com. That's their website. And stop in any one of their 6 locations and make sure you mention Garage Logic. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender.
You want me to do it after
Chris?
John?
Yep.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Soucheray.
Moon Motorsports has the most exciting showroom in the region, and more of the latest Triumph models still arriving. Drop into Moon in Monticello, check out the Triumph Street 77766 Moto 2 Edition, the Triumph Rocket 3R Chrome Edition. They also have the complete lineup of the latest generation of the Triumph Tiger Adventure motorcycles, including the Tiger 850 Sport in both graphite and Baja Orange. The Triumph lineup is vast and varied. You can see them all at moonmotorsports.com. If you like the dirt, you ATV riders out there, you know what this is, the Polaris Sportsman. Polaris just received a truckload of Polaris Sportsman model. Of course, Polaris, they have maybe the finest lineup of both ATV and side-by-sides. You can check out all their exciting models at the Monticello location today. We're talking Moon Motorsports here, just off 94, about 25 minutes west of the Twin Cities, and on the web, moonmotorsports.com.
Thanks, Kenny. In other news, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky will travel to Vilnius, Lithuania, to meet with NATO's leaders at a summit of the military alliance that his country is trying to join. He'll arrive Wednesday, according to people familiar with the matter. The gathering in Vilnius, less than 600 miles from Moscow, comes at a key moment, with Russia's war in Ukraine nearing the 18-month mark.
And the president has made his way over there, and this audio was sent to me by loyal listener Kelsey, and he was trying to, I guess, honor some certain individuals.
A Chinese person.
Yes, and we were talking about Kamala earlier, and how we need to keep old Joe alive and kicking, and he had this to say.
Included groundbreaking Asian Americans like Vera Wang and Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it right, Shanga Kawawa.
That sounded like Such the day he was having his episode.
President Biden had a stroke too.
And there was there's video today of the president's meeting Prince Charles.
Yep.
And Prince Charles had to literally
grab him by the hand,
take his hand, and guide him away from one of the beef eaters he was talking to. And it was a very weird scene.
Beef eaters?
One of those guards in the red outfit.
The gin. Yeah. Beef eater gin guys.
Yeah.
You call them beef eaters.
Well, whatever they are.
That's fantastic.
They still make beef eater gin?
Yeah.
I thought you were referring to a Forest Lake girl for a second.
Jeez. Yikes.
It's Kenny Olsen.
You know, Kenny, we have a lot of dear listeners in Forest Lake, and you're constantly uncharitable.
See, that's where you just don't get it. You just don't understand that it comes from a loving place in my heart.
Yeah. Tell that to the beef eater.
Yeah.
Disgraced sports doctor. Disgraced sports doctor Larry Nassar, who was convicted of sexually abusing female gymnasts, including Olympic medalists, was stabbed multiple times in prison during an altercation in Florida.
Good.
Two people familiar with the matters told the Associated Press it happened Sunday at United States Penitentiary Coleman. He's in stable condition today. One of the people said Nassar had been stabbed in the back and the chest, and the prison was experiencing staffing shortages. And one of the people said the officers assigned to the unit were working mandated overtime shifts. Nassar, serving decades in prison for convictions in state and federal courts, he admitted sexually assaulting athletes when he worked at Michigan State University and at Indianapolis-based USA Gymnastics. Meanwhile, a creepy story from out in California. A 14-year-old girl who ran away from her grandma's Spring Valley area home on June 9th was found last week inside the barracks at Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton. That, according to the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. The teen's disappearance was reported to the Sheriff's Department 4 days later by her grandmother. The girl, who has learning disabilities, was found in the barracks June 28th by military police, according to her aunt, Cassandra Perez. Perez claims her niece was sold to a Marine for sex. Spokesperson for the police, Lieutenant David Ladeau, told NBC7 the only involvement their department had was recovering the juvenile because she was listed as missing from their jurisdiction. However, he did confirm that SDSO was supporting the Naval Criminal Investigative Service with an investigation, along with the San Diego Human Trafficking Task Force. Facebook parent company Meta broke most downloaded records recently with its new app Threads. It's a direct challenge to Twitter, which has been upended under the leadership of Elon Musk. In the first 4 days it was in effect, Threads gained 70 million subscribers, cutting into the number of users on Twitter. Aside from some eighth grade style insults aimed at Meta head Mark Zuckerberg, Twitter CEO Elon Musk also made some legal threats toward Zuckerberg, saying he illegally used former Twitter employees to start Threads up.
And here to break it all down, Meta, Joe Souchere.
Well,
no.
You get your phone.
I don't think you can discern this.
Get your phone. Price of stamps went up again yesterday. If you didn't hear, Forever Stamps went from 63 to 66 cents.
Still okay. I'm still okay.
The agency said in a statement the price adjustments are needed to provide the Postal Service with much-needed revenue. It amounts to about a 32% increase over the past 4 years in Forever Stamps. However, of course, if you bought some, you may still use them whenever you like. They're good, as the name says, forever.
I've got quite a few.
Yeah.
Me too.
How do I
think
know?
It's a miracle.
Aren't all stamps Forever Stamps? Because
I think all are now, yes.
So I don't have to. Okay, good.
No. First-class mail is becoming a smaller part of the Postal Service business because of online communications. And domestic postcards will also increase from 48 cents to 51 cents.
Thanks, Clem.
I think I had a stroke. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy, appointed during the Trump administration, has pursued sweeping changes during his tenure to try and bolster the agency's finances. U.S. Postal Service expects to lose $4.5 billion in 2023.
You can still buy one Forever Stamps, but you can't buy a pack of stamp.
I need to ask the Reanalyzer a question. Here's my dollar.
Shouldn't the machine make that noise after the question?
Well, what's the question?
It's reading the dollar bill.
The question for the Reanalyzer is, will this hot summer Reanalyzer equal or result in an equally cold winter?
Oh.
My God.
No.
And the answer is no.
Next time it's going to cost you more money, though. Can't just be a buck. Can't just be a buck.
That's got to become a staple.
Staple?
Staples.
That'll be on the Garage Logic 60th anniversary.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh, God,
Can't
no.
wait for that one.
Jesus, no, please.
I got a preview right now.
Hello? You think Jim sounded funny 3 weeks ago?
There's the Reanalyzer for the next show, the next 10 years.
Right.
Okay.
What?
We already sound like those two old guys in the balcony on the Muppets.
Yeah.
Can you imagine us? Oh,
John, you
God.
want to end your news on a really weird note from Kelsey?
Sure.
Statler and Waldorf.
He's got a point here. He says, you can't tell me that during the last 10 years, when the entire auto industry decided to scrap their entire way of making cars, there wasn't one person in a position of authority who stood up and said, we don't have enough of the raw materials that we need to do this. It should be obvious to everyone by now, this was never about saving the planet. It was nothing more than forcing people out of what they already own to sell them something else.
Mm-hmm.
They can't allow you to drive a car for 20 plus years. They'd go out of business. They need to constantly sell you something new, and getting the government to mandate that change was necessary. Just think light bulbs, washers, dryers, air conditioners, and now going after gas stoves. Any item they can think of that is owned by as many people as possible, therefore more sales.
Vaccinations.
An added bonus for them with the car switch is that with fewer moving parts, they can eliminate most of their workers and parts suppliers. Not that the cost savings will ever be passed on to the buyers. It just goes to the bottom line profits, which increases the stock price, which in turn enriches those at the top of the company who have been rewarded with millions of shares of stock for their wonderful leadership. Another good club in which to be a member. Well, here's a bit. That's an interesting point. You mean, check this out.
Yeah, break it on down.
Here we go.
You mean to tell me that he's right? 10 years ago, there wasn't some nerd who stood up at a corporate meeting and said, well,
hold up.
Wait a minute. There's no lithium. We'd have to rip the earth apart. Sit down, Fenwick.
Right.
We got to do this.
Fenwick.
Isn't that something? They don't have the stuff to make the batteries.
Right. Well, they don't care. Fenwick.
Well, I'm not buying an electric car. And when we come back, we'll come back.
Good.
Do you mean that in
I'm
general?
glad to hear
Do you mean
that.
in general, or what do you mean by that?
That's what I mean.
I'll tell you what.
They're going to be okay.
Everything's fine.
Here's an example of some people that came back. In 2006, this is Minnesota Masonic Charities. Several longstanding charities of Minnesota Masonry combined to create one umbrella organization. That's MMC, the Minnesota Masonic Charities, with a mission to promote even greater levels of philanthropy. And if you go to their website, mnmasoniccharities.org, click on scholarships, and you can click on a button that says, here's our 2023 recipients. Out of over 500 applicants, 86 awards were given, including 6 signature scholarships, 11 legacy scholarships, 20 heritage scholarships, 25 undergraduate scholarships, and 8 two-year college scholarships. They have done so much. MMC also provides fraternal scholarships to members of the Masonic fraternity throughout the year. So if you want to see the list, it's great. See some of the winners, but I also want you to find out information for next year. It is no big secret that this wonderful, wonderful outfit does a fantastic job, very charitable, with scholarships, helping the young, helping the old, helping people in need. I want you to visit the website and educate yourself. The funny handshakes, that comes later. Go online to mnmasoniccharities.org. That's mnmasoniccharities.org, and let them know that you heard it on Garage Logic.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
That's Aunt Margaret.
To what good fortune do we owe these new tunes?
I have something to say about this. You know how lucky we are to have Dill?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've recently become heavily addicted to a ton of podcasts and YouTube programs, and they all face the same thing we face. They have to go to the production music library and pick out generic pieces of crap.
We don't have to.
And I think we have the best music. What do we call him? Music director? Musical something. We've got the best in the country. You should pay him more.
Well, only.
I'll pass that along to Dylan.
Yeah.
Noted.
How many new ones in this?
He sent 5 new ones on the 4th of July.
Boy.
That's okay. Dylan hates when we find gigs for him. That should be his niche. His niche.
He doesn't want to. I don't think he wants me to keep taking niches.
All he would have to do is start sending it to these YouTubers. My God, they'd snap it up.
I talked to Dylan about this at the fair. Yeah. What was it, John?
We want them. Don't sell them.
Well, he does do some for friends on YouTube, guys who will do instructional videos or whatever, and he'll make a little background tune for him.
I just want a guy that once he's super, super successful, like Elvis Presley successful, I want to be able to say,
get a Cadillac.
I knew that kid when he was just a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Only because they come to us all the way from Fernandina, the Villages, Florida, from the Traveling Lymans. It's this day in history.
Man.
On this day.
Joe, today is July 10th already.
1823.
That's a long time ago.
Major Joseph Delafield and his party arrived at Grand Portage to run the first survey of the international boundary in the region. And on this day in 1930,
710,
the great Bobby Jones played at Interlaken Country Club in Edina on the first day of the U.S. Open Championship. At the end of the two-day tournament, I didn't know the U.S. Open was only 2 days back then. They must have played 36 a day. He won the title for the fourth time at Interlaken, which this summer is undergoing a major renovation.
The course?
Yeah. New grass and all kinds of stuff.
How could Interlaken need that?
Well, they got to do that every once in a while.
Okay.
You know.
Where is that?
Edina.
You had asked earlier the highest point in
Yeah.
the Twin Cities. Brian checks in, says the highest point in Ramsey County, other than the high point at the Arden Hills ammunition plant, which is off limits, the highest accessible point is the TV radio towers in Shoreview, just northeast of Schoonover, according to Brian.
Well, no, it isn't. Does he mean you'd have to climb the towers?
I think he's going sea level or something like that. But there's no way that
There's
Highland
a plaque at the old Hillcrest Golf Club in the middle of the course. I don't remember which hole.
Yeah.
It's gone now.
Yeah.
But there was a plaque that said this is the highest point in Ramsey County.
I live close to the second highest point in Minnesota called Inspiration Peak.
Really?
I thought it was Butts Island.
That's interesting.
But it's so steep I can't walk up it. I have to take my four-wheeler up there.
Yeah. Well, thank you, G. Ellers.
Kenny
Great
walk.
to be back.
Yeah,
I'm
the
glad we're
four-wheeler.
back. And take care in that historic heat that we're having. Take care.
I'll take you to care. I'll take you to Pod MN on your smartphone, and you can care all about whatever you want, okay? All sorts of different podcasts. Find one, listen to it. It's just that easy. Plus...
And listen to their lame music for bumpers on those other podcasts.
Yeah, right. We got the best stuff here. We got Dylan Heidt, man. You want to go over to YouTube, subscribe to Garage Logic, because there are some great videos that you will enjoy. And then don't forget about the Garage Logic Town Council. $10 a month or $100 a year. You're going to get access to us during the breaks. It's going to be you can find out what we're talking about off the air. It's kind of fun. Sometimes it's boring, but sometimes it gets a little heated, too.
And thanks once again to North American Banking Company for sponsoring the
kickoff.
rookie-produced 30th anniversary Garage Logic vignettes. Today was awesome. It was a sad day for us when you called in, but boy, that was a fun
You're going to
day.
be getting more of that from North American Banking.